Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Hello everyone, Carrie here, and today I'm going to be talking about Southern Assault. Now, first I want to preface this by stating I'm going to make at least two of these. One of them is going to cover Southern Assault itself as far as the tournaments. The other one, this one, is going to be covering just the event, because Southern Assault has evolved from being a 2-day tournament to a full-ass convention. All right? So we have gone from going there to a middle school, elementary school, the gymnasium of an elementary school, and playing Alpha Strike for 2 days. 4 rounds on day 1, 2 rounds on day 2, to what is essentially a full-on convention where you have an Alpha Strike tournament, 3 rounds each day. You have a classic tournament, 3 rounds in 1 day. You also have grinders. You have people playing all sorts of different games. So there's a lot going on. And to cover all of it, I feel like it has to be done in two separate videos or 2 separate podcasts or whatever. I am going to try to include slides for everything because I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff here. So that's going to be interesting. So first I have to find my screenshots. Oh, they are not there. Interesting. Where did you put them, computer? All right, give me a second. I'm going to pause this and then I'll be right back. Okay, unpaused, and here we are. So the hotel that this took place at is let me pop back over to the website. There we go. The Village Inn Hotel and Event Center. And this is so the hotel has a little history to it. I really don't want to go into it, but it involves a golf course that's nearby. And that's how the hotel sort of ended up doing its thing and having its bar and all that stuff. So you have the hotel, and it's a decent hotel. It's not like when you go to like something that's like grandiose, but it's also not like run down or anything. It's your average hotel as far as the amenities, sort of the amenities, and just like the overall feel of the hotel. So I want to start there. It's a 2-story hotel. It does not have an elevator. So if you are coming to Southern Assault next year and you require an elevator to get to your room, if you have a mobility disability, or something like that, then you're going to want to get a ground floor room, which there are a lot of ground floor rooms. And I'm sure if you specify, hey, I need a ground floor room, for medical reasons, I'm sure they can accommodate you. So the main area, the facilities map, it's pretty clear like what you're working with. So what we were using at Southern Assault, what Bobby had gotten and everybody was using, was called the Grand Ballroom. Now this is made up of several meeting areas or several like smaller rooms which have sliding dividers. You have Lexington, Monroe, Winston-Salem, and North. And I guess they ran out of local names for them. And the Grand Ballroom has an overall square footage of 8,190 square feet. There are a couple little alcoves where the entrances are, and I want to say there's 5 entrances. So you do have like these little alcoves that really can't be used for anything except maybe registration tables or something like that. For the most part, if we're going to be looking at this layout, the hotel, the space used in the hotel, you had Lexington, Monroe, and about half of Winston as the tournament space, or maybe a quarter of Winston. So a little over half was for the tournaments. Then the other part of Winston and Salem were essentially like open play areas. There was a massive Alpha Strike game set up. I don't think I saw it get played, which is kind of sad because it was humongous and it would have been really cool to watch or to be part of. You also had like tables for open play for like Leviathans and Halo Flashpoint and just all sorts of games getting played all the time in there. So like overall, the space was fine. The registration area was all the way If you look at Lexington, that back corner of Lexington, that's where the registration area was. That's something that I think needs to change for next year. Maybe put it over where Salem is, which is where, like, or between Salem and North, where your first set of doors are. It's outside of the tournament space. You don't have it get really crowded. You can run a line down the hallway. You know, a little bit more organized. And this is the first year that it's a convention, so I know there's stuff that's just, it has growing pains. You have to kind of get used to things and get it all set up the way you like. And, you know, that's something that I think for the future will be good. As far as amenities, there is a pool, but it's an outdoor pool. It's the middle of November. You're not going to go swimming. I think the pool's closed, so no swimming for anybody. The bar was open on Friday and Saturday, I believe, or it might have been Saturday, Sunday. Some people partook. Most people, I don't think, did. There's a lot of options in the area as far as food or entertainment and stuff like that. You had like a Chinese restaurant, a Waffle House, a Mexican restaurant, a place that does, manga, K-pop, and is a bakery across the street. And there's a few places nearby, like there's a really good Indian restaurant, there's Biscuitville, all sorts of stuff nearby. You can absolutely, and you can also go and get drinks and stuff like that. It's not a big deal. Then you have that pre-function space in the front. We didn't use that. I don't know. I'm assuming that he would have to have paid more for that. And then you have 2 other ballrooms, which we also did not use. You know, as far as overall layout of the hotel, everything like that, it was fine. Oh, the other amenity, breakfast. On Saturday and Sunday morning, they have breakfast. Breakfast is a little bit weird. So in my last job, I traveled up and down the East Coast. I was in hotels for like weeks at a time, doing stuff where I was resetting stores all over the East Coast. That did kind of cut into my ability to do some stuff, and I'm still sort of getting my life back into a way that I like it. But aside, they never restricted access to anything at breakfast. And here, you had your standard stuff out. And then you had your drinks. You had coffee and orange juice. And you also had milk for cereal, but I definitely drank some milk just because I like milk. And the coffee and the orange juice, they had to bring you. You could not just go get coffee or orange juice. It was really weird. The other days, there was a grab-and-go breakfast, which was like honey buns and little snack things. I mean, it's actually not a bad snack bag to have. It's not anything that's like really impressive. So overall, the hotel's pretty good. The breakfast, there's some issues. They had grits and they had sausage gravy, both of which were like soup. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it was good. Nice hotel. The second floor thing is a little weird because if you're on the second floor and you need a mobility thing, you know, like if you have any mobility issues, getting up to that second floor is going to be impossible. I mean, they have to have an elevator somewhere, but I did not see it anywhere on the floor plans. And even looking at the main floor plans, I don't see vending and stairs, laundry, banquet rooms. Yeah, there's no elevators listed on this floor plan. So I don't know how they do that. You know, I'm assuming it was built before ADA was a thing, but you know, I mean, you never know. It's just one of those things. Going from the hotel itself to an overview of the events. Now, first of all, as far as the events, you had, like I said, on Saturday you had Alpha Strike, Sunday was Alpha Strike, Monday was Classic, and then Tuesday was just kind of whatever. Also, Friday, even though it officially was not like part of the convention, you did have the Crabback event, and they raised over $3,000 for Children's Miracle Network. And quite frankly, it was awesome because they had a bunch of grinders set up, and the grinders, you paid to get in the grinder, and you got yourself a crab or a hunchback, and depending on how many kills the crabs or hunchbacks got, they would get edge points. So with all the edge points that myself and the other crab pilots were able to gain, the crabs were finally able to win Crabback. Okay, so you had that on Friday, but otherwise there wasn't any official stuff going on, and I think Crabback's like semi-official. I'm not quite sure how that works. Saturday you had the Alpha Strike tournament as your big thing, and Sunday you also had the Alpha Strike tournament as your big thing, and I feel like this was really awesome. They split it into 3 rounds each day instead of 4 and 2, which made it a lot less, I don't want to say stressful, but it alleviated a lot of that whole thing where on, Saturday I mean, you're still burnt out, but you are not as burnt out as you would normally be. So that was nice. And then Sunday, we got everything done, wrapped up, out the door. Awesome time. I did. My wife and I did not leave then. We stayed the whole time. We actually stayed until Wednesday because that way we had essentially some time to rest and just cool down after all the stuff had happened. After the tournaments and all the events and everything else. One thing that I do want to mention on Saturday, that last area where Bobby had set up like a little store over in the north ballroom or banquet room. The area there was set up for, like, okay, so at Historicon, you used to have a thing called Wally's Basement. This I'm referring to as Bobby's Basement. It was everything that's not listed on the website. And when I say everything, I mean everything. There was all sorts of stuff, and it was just absolutely amazing. Like, oh god, not Stardate, Future Wars and MechForce North America magazines, and basically all the weird stuff that you could possibly get. He had it there. He also had 2 vendors, 888stl.cc, as well as Tabletop Terrain. So from Tabletop Terrain, I did pick up this beautiful, and I mean it is absolutely beautiful, Gepard Mark II, and this thing is big. It looks really cool. I am doing it up in a space shuttle motif because why not? And then I'm gonna age the panels and do some stuff to it, make it look really old and run down, and it's been flying around forever and ever and ever. So I got the Gepard. I got BattleMech recognition cards from I think it's 1992 is when these were put out. You look here, 93. From 93, it's a complete set. That is just really cool. I also picked up it's the Thor and Loki. These are from one of the box sets. I want to say it was the same box set that had like the really, really weird thin mechs, the plastics. And I picked these up because I want to talk about them. These were quote unquote premium miniatures. I have a Battlemaster floating around. It's the Project Phoenix Battlemaster that was before these. That was a quote unquote premium. These are hard plastic. We're going to talk about them eventually. Shoot, I picked up 5 Mad Cat City Tech miniatures to convert to Mad Cat 2s, or no, Mad Cat 3s, because they're just the right size when compared to the Mad Cat from Catalyst. My wife, she got me a Fox Patrol, the Dice Puck, which is just absolutely amazing. I love it. It's so cool. And now all I need is the Fox Patrol card for, I forgot the name of the Push Your Luck game. And I have it sitting right over there, but I can't read it because my eyes are totally crap. Encounters, which I also got Encounters when I was at the tournament. So I'm not going to go into all the detail. I'm kind of doing a swag thing right now, and I apologize, but this is just like the stuff that I picked up. I ended up with an Urban Burger from one of my opponents, Patrick. He was my last round opponent, Magistracy of Canopus. Yeah, last round? Yeah, he was last round. And he gave me an Urban Burger and a BattleTech bottle opener, which he had laser engraved himself. It looks really neat. So swag in the bags. There was a bunch of patches, and you can see here I have a ton of patches. I got these from all the different players, and well, not all of them, but a few different players. Mobile Headquarters is in there. I cannot remember your actual name. Saul Roth, Motor City Mech Warriors, Southern Assault stickers. Jesty, I believe, gave me the Coolant Pod sticker. Oh, I don't remember your name. Ice Cream Socialists patch, which the unit was painted up as those two ice creams. Fortress and Southern Assault patches. Your normal fare. Also, I got some as far as things useful for Alpha Strike, I did get a new widget to measure distances and stuff. It's in my dice bag. I probably don't have a picture of it up here. Also, from Cross Electric Designs, they had some water templates, which are really cool. One of them is totally shaped like a actual kidney, and one of them is shaped like the half of my pancreas. It still works. So there's all that. I'm sure I'm missing stuff. Oh, there were decals. There. Death Ray Designs had the new Destructible City things in the swag bags. Those are really cool. I got the Firehouse, which obviously is going to look like Ghostbusters. And finally, I want to say I did get all the buildings from 888 STL, the Arby's, and what is it? They're not actually Arby's, but it's an Arby's, an In-N-Out, and a Waffle House. And I want to say, Steel Rift. Everybody got a Steel Rift starter army, which you can download the rules for free. These look pretty cool. I'm gonna see, take a look at them, see what I got here. I might go ahead and look at the game and see what it's like. But yeah, so I think that's everything I got in the swag bags. And like I said, the tournaments, they ran smoothly. The guys at Mech Bay, they ran the classic tournament. Bobby ran the Alpha Strike tournament. And there are a few things I'm missing here. Like I got encounters after the Alpha Strike tournament, I believe. I got let's see. Those I got through the thing. Oh, I got a fighter at the end of each tournament because I played in Classic and Alpha Strike. So I have 2 of those. I got a little mech unit display thing. So I got that. I have a few other things that I got that I don't quite... Oh, I got 2 art pieces. So yeah, a lot of stuff. And I apologize for all the ums. I'm just thinking out loud as I do this because I'm just doing this off no script because why not? Oh, I did get a Unseen Marauder 2, a Cestus Battle Droids miniature, and a fully assembled Catalyst Metal Catapult from Iron Winds, and I got the museum scale Mad Cat and Zeus. Just some stuff to think about, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. This will be awesome. Get these, I have way too much stuff, and now I have even more way too much stuff. Also, the Mech Bay, their tournament, they had a technical, which I'll talk about when I talk about the tournament in the other video or other podcast, whatever it's going to be. But it's a Mech Bay technical Toyota Hilux. So those are still running around in the 32nd century at this point. So yeah, that pretty much covers like the basics of just what I kind of want to go over. I'm sure, God knows, I've missed something. And like to everybody who did run stuff, to anybody who gave me things and said hi, and it was awesome seeing everybody. It was awesome hanging out. I talked to a lot of people. But anywho, let me talk about where do I think, and this is gonna be the last section, where do I think that there should be improvement, and what can you do to help? All right, Southern Assault has gone, like I said, from being a tournament to a convention. And with that growth, there comes some growing pains. The first of these is that you need to have a more defined area for like when you're getting to the con, the registration desk, the reg desk. You shouldn't have to man it as the person running the con. And I've already volunteered to help next year. My wife sort of volunteered this year post hoc after we got there because we did help Bobby put together for the badges. Myself, my wife, and Bobby were all putting that together. So you have roughly a 1 in something chance that either myself or my wife help put that all together. Then let's see. Reg desk, you need to have, and you have to keep it staffed. So what I would suggest, registration desk, you keep someone there the whole convention. So somebody has to, it doesn't have to be one person, but you have to rotate into a few different people. Just keep somebody there That way, if there's any questions, if you sort of serve as the service desk, like, hey, I'm trying to find this game or this event or whatever, and you can point them in the right direction. The other thing is moving that registration desk, like I think I mentioned already, somewhere around Salem or north. That would be really good. The next thing I would suggest is Southern Assault has a ton of podcasters under its wings as far as sponsorships. Make use of us. Like, if you want to close off north and turn that into like a room where you're doing like Q&As with like podcast roundtables and record it, let all the podcasts go ahead and put it on their things or the YouTube channels. Take advantage of having that resource. I also would probably make a separate painting competition just for miniatures painting. BattleTech, not BattleTech, single unit, have like a journeyman possibly a children's class, and also a master's or something like that, where it's people who have already won other painting competitions. That way you have like 3 tiers. One tier where it's like all for fun, it's kids, and then one tier where it's like people who are good at painting or even just okay at painting, and they want to try to do this. And then you have the people who are like way up here, who are just like above everybody else. And so you have that. You use your podcasters and your YouTubers to your fullest advantage. Talk to us beforehand, obviously. Hey, would y'all mind doing a thing on this day? Possibly do it on like one of the slower days, or do it on like after one of the tournament days, like in the evening, something for people to go do aside from play, because there's tons of space to play. Also, maybe look at running, get Death Ray Designs out there to run demos of Steel Rift, or have people running Leviathans and other games, just all sorts. You have enough room to do it. You're not gonna be able to run competition stuff all 4 days, but you can do something every day. Hell, do like what they did up in Maryland recently, and have the large scale mech fight, where you play with mechs that are like the museum scale size or the 10mm size or something like that, and just have fun with it, And you could even grab, maybe, depending on, and that's the thing, it's going to depend on attendance. So I want to say for the first few years, we're probably just looking at the Grand Ballroom, because the convention, much like any convention, it needs to get its legs under it. But as that happens, and over time, I can see this expanding to take over all of the Crystal Ballroom, the Ivy, and the Grand Ballroom, and making use of all of it, and making use of that pre-function space. One other thing I would do is look at making a space for authors and artists, like an artist's alley, where you can have both authors and artists there, and that would allow you to get more of them into the event. Like, it would be really cool to see, because you already have, some authors showing up, you have some of the developers showing up from time to time, you have like all these people showing up, and try to coordinate that a little better, give them a space as their own, even if it's still part of that Grand Ballroom that you're using. I know that they were at a table, and everybody's name eludes me right now. I feel horrible about it, but give them a space to be able to do their thing, to be able to showcase their wares, as it were. Especially the artists. I don't know how many of them go around and do cons and stuff, but I'm sure you could probably, find a few who are willing to come out and do some stuff. And, I think it would be really neat. So, I mean, as far as the overall Alpha Strike Convention, overall Southern Assault Convention, I think it was really successful. There were some people who didn't attend because of the government shutdown and everything else going on, so the numbers were a little off from what they probably would have been otherwise. And I really think it was a successful, at least from my perspective, it looked like a successful event. And I'm hoping that next year I can be involved in making it even more successful by volunteering. And if you want to help to do that, you can also volunteer. Contact Fortress Miniatures and Games. Go on their Discord. Hey, I am interested in volunteering for Southern Assault 6. Who do I contact? What do I do? You know, because I'm sure that Bobby will be able to find something for everybody to do who wants to help. So that's it for this. I want to thank my sponsor, Fortress Miniatures and Games. Thank you for running the event. Thank you for getting all this organized. And if you need any BattleTech products, be it miniatures, mats, terrain, more miniatures, metal or plastic miniatures, and the premiums, like everything is there. Source books, all of it. Fortress has it, and they're reasonably priced. They have everything's discounted to a certain degree. I want to say it's all 20 or 25%. In fact, right now, recently they started taking pre-orders for the Alpha Strike Aces, and I want to say, according to Google, or according to the website, mine shipped out today. So hopefully everybody's going to be getting them soon. I did get some pictures and stuff. I'm going to do like a quick overview of the Alpha Strike stuff. Probably not as a full-on video, maybe as a series of shorts. And when I get the thing, I'm going to do a full video review. The miniatures I can already do the review for. So I don't know. I might just do the miniature part and have that out of the way, and then do the campaign and everything else later on. So that's it for today. Thanks to all my sponsor. Thanks to all my patrons, my channel members, everybody. You all make this possible, and I really appreciate that you all do follow me and help support what I do. So until next time, and the next time is going to be the other video where I talk about the tournaments. This is Carrie signing off. Be safe out there, Mech Warriors. I want to thank all of our patrons, channel members, and our sponsor for supporting the channel. Our patrons, first we have Captain Sarah, then our lieutenants, Boy in a Box and Nathan. We then have our sergeants, BZ Archer, Faz, and Steven. Then our cadets, Dominic, NB Kaiju, Housemaster Poding, Jamie, and Scott. Then we have our wonderful channel member, Miss J. And finally, our sponsor and Mercenary Review and Bonding Commission liaison, Fortress Miniatures and Games.